damn right. He's been around for a very, very long time. Oh boy, we'll see which one comes out on top.
That we shall. Starting things off on Romanticide LE, we're in the bottom right-hand corner map, sweating all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming down from the land of China. He is representing Good Game Gaming. GGG! He is Cyan.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the blue Protoss, the Chinese Protoss representing Invictus Gaming. It is MacSed.
So many G's in this matchup.
Yeah, a lot of G's, mate, a lot of G's. I'm honestly, a little bit of a side note, I am appreciative that GGG finally got a goddamn transparent logo.
I remember the old logo, yeah.
I mean, it's still the same old one on Wikipedia, but like it's got like a white background. Yeah.
Gotta get that PNG in.
I appreciate it.
Just looks so. Are you telling me you don't like just a splotch?
Just a white
square.
Sorry, a white square.
Yeah, that's like breaking up the dark colors over here.
In case people forget what it looks like. I just did
a production thing, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Just the GGG, but just on a white background. Oh god. But here we go. We are diving into this series, and we were talking about it yesterday. You know, we were able to cast a PvP, and like, yo, we expect some aggression out of this series, out of these players, but we barely got to see any of that, mate.
That we did not. MacSed and Jesha both playing a very similar kind of macro-oriented style, not even going for too many timing-based pushes, more of getting their upgrades, getting a certain unit composition, and then seeing what they could get away with, but then just getting trapped by the defender.
Yeah, pretty much. It was both players playing as you were saying, almost like mirrored styles. Obviously there were slight differences, but no major ones. And we got to see just Jeshi just like slowly over time really just overpower his opponents, and in some ways straight up kind of outplay, especially the final game of the night that we casted between those two. It was really impressive to see.
Yeah, I think how we described it last night was they were both in the same race, but Jesha managed to make it to the finishing line a little bit quicker than MacSed did.
Yeah, definitely, in a way. And now, finally, yo, this is what I was expecting, at least yesterday. We didn't get to see it. We actually have different openers.
Are we sure about that? It's not too late for Cyan to cancel that Twilight Council and grab a Stargate. Or vice versa for MacSed.
I mean, it's what we would have expected yesterday, at least. But we do have a Twilight Council against, for the first time here, a Stargate opening.
For a second, I thought he canceled Stargate, but I think that was just a pylon. It
was. Yeah. The pylon threw me off, but oh my god, the EDM said they make it in!
And forces a recall over here. Cyan has really good eyes on MacSed's base, even taking out quite a number of probes here. In addition to that, Adept.
Mate, the amount of damage done here, and oh my god, the Adept even survives, able to take out a couple more workers. The Adept was recalled to defend, and it just went down. Got up.
Yeah, definitely very awkward placement on the Stalker from MacSed. He's actually He's stuck. No, MacSed. He's gonna have to kill one of his buildings, and Cyan's gotta be overjoyed right now.
Exactly. I was actually a little bit worried that maybe if there were enough Stalkers here for Cyan, he would just be able to just overpower this lone Void Ray because it couldn't be reinforced. So I was a little bit concerned that things were just gonna snowball, and yo, he even just completely walls off here at the natural.
Well, that's consistency for you. You're gonna wall off your main, you may as well wall off your natural too.
I guess so, and it makes sense in a way. You know, there's going to be a lot of Stalkers coming out here, potentially enough to start not one-shotting, but maybe two-shotting these Void Rays despite an overcharge, despite a shield battery.
I believe that shield battery is actually in range of the Stalkers, but of course without Blink, there's a lot less Cyan can get done here. There's a lot less to micro.
You say that, Blink just finished.
Well,
the pylon is done. Here we go. Let's reinforce Cyan, just applying so much pressure here. We have now 6 Stalkers across the map. A third of Void Ray is about to pull out. With that, it should be okay, but yeah,
Yeah, fighting a little bit outside of shield battery over here. Very dangerous for MacSed. Popping the overcharge a little prematurely. And I gotta say, the placement on that Stargate, that's every Protoss player's or every Blinkstalker player's dream right there.
Definitely.
They want to be able to chip away at it and just take out the production then and there.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about. Literally two-shotting these Void Rays. One of the Void Rays already going down. Another one so close as well. So much damage already taken. Overcharge was already wasted.
And there aren't any more shield batteries over here. Cyan fully walled off. He forgot the shield batteries. He underestimated the power of the Stalkers.
These Stalkers, they want to help them, but they're stuck. They're still stuck in the main, Yaku.
Oh no.
Aye, aye, aye. The gateway goes down. The Stargate's gonna go down. Finally, MacSed realizes now. No, he still doesn't bring down the wall.
That he has not. He's within the range of the Stalkers now, though. But it is way too little, way too late. Even with the additional shield batteries, nothing is going to survive. Now that all these Stalkers are able to one-shot, it has just been a complete disaster for MacSed.
Yeah, exactly. Every single Void Red went down. Only Stalkers remaining here for MacSed. Again, as you pointed out, they do not have Blink. They're just inferior in every way to the Stalkers of Cyan. The one thing going for MacSed, Overcharge is now available again.
But is that really going to matter? I see a whole ton of Stalkers here, like more than enough to start one-shotting.
Yeah.
Stalkers are MacSed. If Cyan target fires, he is more than happy right now. Just chip away at these buildings, try to force that overcharge. There we have it. He's throwing out shield batteries on his own light. He's saying, this is what you're forgetting, MacSed. Cyan takes game number 1.
GG, Cyan taketh, and MacSed also giveth away as he again walled himself off from his own natural. Like so many units. There were probes as well that were stuck in the main that were trying to come down to help or to help mine. Oh god.
Man, I really got a feel for MacSed over here. He's got to be kicking himself after that game.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's able to perk himself up once again though, as he will be playing game number 2 shortly after this break.
He will. He will. See you soon.
And we are back, continuing our best of 3 elimination match. Let me repeat that. The elimination match. One of these players is going to be knocked out. And Cyan, he's currently very, very overjoyed. MacSed, on the other hand, he is focused. He is determined not to repeat the same mistakes in that he did in game number 1.
Yeah, everything just fell apart for MacSed there, mate. It was, it all started with the Adepts slipping in, and that really, that shield battery finishing really came into play towards the end there. Like, that was disastrous, and it was all because of those 2 Adepts.
What a series of unfortunate events. It just felt like everything was going wrong for Max in that game, from the shield battery, as you said, to just the placement on the Stargate as well. Yeah. But that was game number 1. We are now in game number 2. There is still a chance for MacSed to turn this around. And speaking of MacSed, here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player coming down from China. He is representing Invictus Gaming, Team IG. He is MacSed.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player. He is red, representing Good Game Gaming, GGG. It is Cyan. Oh.
And, oh. We're gonna hip up.
Oh.
No! Just brush each other. Brushing each other in the brush, or the bush, if you will.
Just walking past.
So close.
And we'll see what MacSed has in store for us, because as you said, he is taking this more seriously, like, 1G when getting ready for the lobby as well. He's like, yo, let's go, okay? I need to redeem myself, and he kind of does,
Yeah. He's like, I don't have time to type O's. That's G.
Yeah. Hopefully, ideally for me, this goes all the way to the ace match. Not just because I enjoy the players, but also because, again, this is our only series of the of the broadcast.
Yeah,
so
it is.
To kind of hope it goes all 3 games.
Gotta get our value out of this.
Exactly.
And it would obviously be such a massive shame if either of these players gets knocked out this early on.
Yeah.
Again, they were kind of part of the top 4 for most of 2020, along with Time. Coffee kind of teetering off the edge of that for a while. XY coming out of nowhere in the final season to come in 2nd place. But aside from Time, the players that have really dominated from the Chinese scene have been Cyan, MacSed, Jesha, and Silky.
Exactly. But things are really changing here in 2021. The old guard, they're being replaced in a way, and this is why I'm again a little bit concerned for MacSed. We will see if he's been able to tighten up here, because he's opening up a little bit more safer. He did go for that sentry alongside the Stalker, and once again we do have an Adept opener from Cyan. So MacSed, you got to be on top of that wall, but don't let it finish.
But not too on top of it. Yeah. Don't get too over eager, but we'll see if that does come into play, as Cyan is switching things up a lot here, doing a complete 180 of game number 1. Open up with that Stargate, and I tell you what, Oracles, they can go over walls.
They can. Walls mean nothing to them, and honestly, I love this from Cyan. This really, again, it shows how much more of a diverse player Cyan can be, especially because if you remember, MacSed yesterday, I'm pretty sure he just went for the same thing, game after game. He was just kind of stuck in his ways. So we'll see if he's able to prepare for this. He does Haluk Scout, and he does see the Stargate.
Sees the Stargate, sees the Phoenix is going to be producing right now. Cyan hoping to get into a bit of Phoenix War when it comes to this game, but we'll see if MacSed is willing to reciprocate that.
That we will. Ooh, this time MacSed does have a proxy pylon in the center of the map, and he will warp in a couple of his own Adepts to be a little bit aggressive across the map, but looks like he actually gets spotted by Cyan.
Uh-oh. And just gets completely chased away here. Cyan, rather, does not even have to use his Phoenixes against those particular Adepts. Forces a recall here. And does take out... Nope, doesn't quite take it out, but forcing a recall still pretty massive here.
Yeah, it was pretty close. He almost got that Adept. As we can see, that Adept has 2 HP. But oh my god, the pylon was found because obviously he saw the warp in the center of the map, so the pylon will fall. Again, very solid defense here by Cyan. He hasn't really been able to do much with his Phoenixes, but I mean, you know, he was able to defend with them, right? And really, that's the purpose for them here in the early game.
Really is. You can't really get much done when you have a low count of Phoenixes, so. But by the time he gets about maybe 5 or 6 of them, we should be seeing him move across the map, start lifting and trying to one-shot these probes. Arguably even more effective than an Oracle at that point. Definitely a lot more maneuverable.
Oh yeah, definitely. And even if there are a couple of Stalkers, like again, like 2 Stalkers, you can still go toe-to-toe with them. You can pick them up. You can pick them up. You can take them down. So this can be a little bit scary for MacSed. Thankfully, MacSed, he is going for a Stalker-heavy composition. You know, we see Blink and +1 on the way.
Blink is like the Carbots version of Blink.
Oh my god, it's beautiful. Oh,
I love it. Even coming in with the Adepts to distract them a little bit. It doesn't matter if the probes are lifted or not. They will be attacked from every single direction. I like what Cyan did there a little bit, trying to lift the Adepts to save them. Unfortunately, both Stalkers and Sentries could shoot up, but still, it was a good maneuver.
I like how, in your mind, hey, look, he tried to save them. I'm pretty sure he misclicked. I really don't think it was intentional to pick up his own Adepts.
Look. It's a PR spin of things, you know?
What are you on about? You're like, oh my god, look, he lifted up. He's trying to save his boy. It's like, mate, he was trying to kill his boy. He almost killed his boy,
Eventually, Cyan just sends me a check in the mail. It's like, oh, thanks for helping me, like, save face there.
God damn
that was a neat PR spin.
God damn it, Yaku. In the end, I mean, as you said, MacSed was in position to defend. You know, even an Adept was taken out of the fight thanks to his own opponents. So, yeah, so far so good for MacSed. He's even able to expand behind this.
Yeah, so far Cyan has not quite gone to his third. Now he has, but it's a little bit later on. One way to catch up in the workers, once again, especially as the Protoss player, is with that chrono boost. A couple of the Phoenixes are starting to get caught out. And the effectiveness of them as a harassment force has kind of finished up here once MacSed. Now that MacSed has enough Stalkers.
Exactly. Now, I mean, to be fair, they still have a role to play. They can still CC these high-tech units in a big engagement. Speaking of, we see MacSed moving out, trying to reinforce his army. There aren't too many gateway units here for Cyan. His Immortals are a little bit exposed, but that shield battery is a couple of seconds off from finishing up.
Indeed it is. Won't have a battery overcharge available for a while, at least until that Nexus finishes up. There are 3 Immortals right now, but look how exposed they are!
Oh my god!
One of them does go down, but at a cost of, what, 4 Stalkers? Potentially even more here. Cyan started to push from the high ground. And that crowd control is just really cutting into the DPS of MacSed.
It really did, and in my mind, I was like, oh my god, is Cyan gonna pick up his own, his own Immortal and try to save it? I was waiting for it to happen. Oh god. Thankfully he didn't, but that was really well done by MacSed, able to just dive on top of one of those exposed Immortals, and that matters so much here. Again, that Immortal count is what Cyan is relying on to help defend.
Absolutely. MacSed lost a couple of Stalkers, but what's a couple of Stalkers to 1 Immortal? Not a whole lot, I tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, a couple of the Phoenixes do take some hull damage there as well. MacSed has been able to find a lot of value with these Stalkers so far, able to get his third base up and running even a little bit faster compared to his opponents. But what's scary is that, that Immortal count, it is rising. Same with a couple of Archons. Like, this army right now, it may not seem too large, but it is very, very high value.
Yeah, for a second there, I was gonna get into this whole, MacSed, he's buying himself time with these Stalkers. He's getting Archons. He's getting his next phase attack. And then I looked over at Cyan's production, and who is MacSed really buying time for here?
Exactly.
I think it's the question.
Exactly, because Cyan, he's already there, right? Like, really, he's the one who needs more time for, like, gateways, for charge loss to help buffer for his army. It's already looking terrifying here. Meanwhile, these Phoenixes, again, they're trying to find some damage, and they will find some.
Yeah, these Phoenixes have really been able to do what MacSed Stalkers could not, and that is actually put a dent in the economy of their opponent.
Exactly, MacSed down 10 workers. Like, that's crazy in a mirror matchup. That is significant. And now here we go. Cyan has had enough. He has his War Prism. He's going across the map. Oh my god, he has to be careful not to lose his War Prism though. Ooh.
Yeah, he needs that so much here. Not just for the reinforcements, but also the micro potential and juggling. Cyan has a ton of Archons, but he does need to make sure that they don't get bunched up behind the rest of the units.
That he does. Meanwhile, Cyan is moving down the ramp. That War Prism is still safe and sound behind the army, and MacSed is forced back. He does have a pretty decent Zealot count, has 2 Archons. It's all going to be about how these charges engage.
And it will, so the Stalkers are providing a little bit of skirmish, and Immortal does get lifted!
It does get...
Cyan going Immortal, but...
Exactly, now the Zealots are getting on top of the entire army here of MacSed. MacSed losing already his first Immortal. His second one is about to go down.
Indeed it is. The battery that's being overcharged is being attacked from behind. And just about everything is getting lifted, getting taken out. Cyan had his Archons in the front, and they had a ton of splash volleys on every single one of these Zealots, and eventually the Stalkers too. MacSed getting real desperate with his defense here.
That he is, but the Nexus will go down, and there are only Stalkers here left to defend. GG gets called, and Cyan takes the series 2-0.